Welcome to the podcast. The Aging Queen. Welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the podcast. Welcome back to another wonderful episode of The Aging Queen. We're here with the usual suspects, Robbie in Madrid, Spain. Say hi.
Hi.
And we got Mr. James from Columbus, Ohio. Hello, James.
Hey, how are you?
Good. What's going on? What's new this week?
It's so hot in Spain.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I'm in front of the fan. So if you guys can hear the fan, I'm not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry.
Sorry, not
Right.
sorry.
Exactly. It's a lovely. I think I just checked my watch. It is apparently 85 degrees here, and it's actually not humid today, which is nice. But I've been inside most of the day, so that's
Dude,
also been nice.
global warming. It's real.
Yes.
So today's episode is about movies, films, TV shows, and new media. Are people starting to go and watch more YouTube and things online in shorter formats than actually going to the movies or linear TV? What do you guys prefer? What do you guys do? What does a normal gay do and watch nowadays?
Normal
Not like
gay.
you guys are normal gays.
I'm
No,
like,
we're not.
what is a normal gay?
Period.
It's like saying, what's a normal person? I just don't. I mean, I
That
don't know.
word normal is not very
Yeah,
normal.
I agree. I don't know. I don't know what people. I don't know what the normal person does.
I
I
guess
mean,
the word should be average,
true.
I'm
I
way
mean,
above average. Keep that to yourself.
God, I'm shooting out. Freaking everyone's like on me today, huh? No, but I
Love
mean,
you.
the people who aren't Taylor Swift and RuPaul, what do they watch? What do we watch?
I
Us
mean,
normals.
I know that I watch a variety. I mean, like I love watching TV and movies, and sometimes I'll watch things on YouTube. But I feel like I watch media on a variety of different platforms. But
Are
the
you
great
into
thing,
this true crime like everyone else is?
No.
my mother is. My mother loves that.
Oh my God,
She-
so many people are, and I think it's only this country. I don't know.
it's really kind of funny because the only time I really will watch it is when I go and see my mom. Um, and she calls them her killing shows because they're all about like,
Oh my God.
how random people got killed. So it's like killing in the Arctic. And you're like, what? And it's literally like crime shows that took place in like the Arctic or Alaska or murder at the beach, like it's all these that's what they're kind of named. And then but they're and it's all it is. It's just like hours upon hours of like how people got killed and stuff
Yeah,
like
Killing
but the
that.
thing is,
shows. I love it.
you like that kind of stuff, Robbie?
No, I love the name. I think it's so fitting.
Oh,
Be
Oh
yeah.
yeah,
quiet, Grandma's watching her stories. Be
it's
quiet,
true.
Grandma's watching her killing
It's
shows.
true. My mom loves those shows. And it's funny. So like I said, when I go home with her, that's literally what I'll do. I'll just hang out with her and just watch her shows.
Well, they're addicting because they really play on the cliffhanger idea, and in the who done it. We all love Agatha Christie for that reason. It's we like to know who did it. There's a discovery there, a point there that we're very curious about. We're curious people. Um, I love this show on YouTube that is so random, and it's about airport security. I have no
What?
idea. The
Oh
Border Security
no.
Australia, and they've made one in Canada and the UK. It's not the same. I like the Australia one.
Oh yeah, I've watched that too. But I think
Have you watched it?
I watched it when I was visiting my brother in Canada, and I was just like, "What is this?" I haven't watched it since,
But you
but
see, the
yeah.
Canadian one show version and the British version, they're not interesting to me because they're just normal assholes. Okay, but the Australians are really curious, and I mean, it's really interesting because they're super nice, but yet they're like fucking you over. They're always like, "Oh yeah, can you walk back there with me?" And then you see the next thing is like, little Johnny spent 8 years in prison because you're like, wow, she was so nice, you know. And they say words like their accent. They're like, she tested positive for cocaine. It's just the word, the way they say cocaine is just so interesting to me. That accent has intrigued me lately. It sounds really silly. I sound silly saying it, but that show, the Border Security Australia, is very interesting, and they try to always bring in the wildest shit, you know,
Mhm.
like animal heads and everything, and and it's just crazy. I'm like, how did you think this was okay? Like to bring in, 400 different species of plants and animals. I don't know.
When I
Anyway.
went to Australia, they were really strict, except when I landed, it was probably like 3 hours before New Year's, like
Mhm.
when the fireworks go off over Sydney Harbor, and I was at the
Mhm.
Sydney International Airport. So they were. I was expecting, it to be really, really hectic and cumbersome and all of that. But no, they're like, okay, go through, go through. Everybody just wanted to go home.
That makes
Mm.
sense. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Whereas when you fly to Canada, they're like, "Why are you here? How long are you gonna be here? Who are you here to see? Let me see
Yeah.
your documents." Like they are hardcore. Like
No,
getting
but the
into Canada.
Australians were too. They were, some of them they'd be like, "Well, you overstayed your visa by a day, so reject." They're pretty hardcore. You're like, "Wow, okay."
Yeah.
But they're just nice about it, and their accent makes it wild. Yeah.
I will say that regarding like TV and movies, I have greatly appreciated the larger numbers of gay, I guess, themes in TV shows and movies as well. Like there have been so many good gay shows or shows, I guess, that have a lot of gay topics out, recently. Like I know there was the one of my favorites was Interview with the Vampire. Oh,
Oh,
loved
that's so great. That's a
it. Yeah,
classic.
yeah,
Have you
loved it.
seen that, Robbie?
Never heard of it.
It was a book. So it was a book, and in the '90s they did a movie out of it. In
And
which
Tom
case,
Cruise,
with Tom
Brad Pitt,
Cruise and Brad Pitt, and it was really kind of like,
Antonio Banderas.
yeah, so they got some great people, but they essentially, I feel like they de-gayified it. I mean, like they took out, because like when you read the book, there's so much, I guess, homoeroticism in the book. Like these are vampires who literally have these relationships for decades, like, of course, that involve sex and other adult things. Like when you live for somebody for 50 years, come on now. That's things are going to happen.
Okay, I'm
um
sorry. Can I just ask a question? Is this a book with like actual words, or is this like
Yeah,
a
it's Anne
book?
yeah,
Rice. It's just one
yes,
of these
Anne Rice, yes, these are, yeah,
Oh, I
Anne
thought it was one of
Rice.
those sexy
she's like
novels.
the
No,
New
no, no, it's not.
Orleans.
No,
Yeah.
no, it's these are legit, like, she did a whole series of books. They're called the Vampire Chronicles.
Oh.
And based off of sort of the main characters. I won't go too far in depth, but they're really good. What I like about them is that when I read her work, she's so descriptive that most of the readers have a really good idea of like what these people look like and what they're doing and where they are. And then the movie, when they made the movie, so many people were just kind of up in arms about, like, oh my gosh, Tom Cruise is not this person, and all this other things. And for me, like when I watch a movie, I tend to watch it just for purely entertainment purposes. So I guess for me, my biggest frustration with the movie was essentially that since it was the '90s, they took a lot of the gayness out of it.
Well, they're still pretty gay. I mean, come on,
They
there's a
they
lot of tension between all of them.
But see, that's the thing. There's tension, but it was the
There's
'90s,
no
so
fucking.
well, I mean, not even necessarily that.
My
I mean,
lord, we
it's
can't say
like
that word.
it's like it's like, but they just redid. So now they just completed season 2 of the TV show Interview with the Vampire, which was way more true to the book. Like they actually show essentially a gay relationship. I mean, like, or several gay relationships. Um, and it's just kind of like, okay, this is fantastic. Like it was just amazing to watch.
But look,
Now,
listen, there's gay connotations and subtext and a lot of work, and some of it in the
true,
past, was made to get past the censors or into general population,
right,
but, it was still like, if you really were savvy about it, you could tell that they were, that they this is a gay story, with
right,
gay characters, and a lot of these, like, I did, in college, I did papers on a lot of the Tennessee Williams plays, that there was hidden gay, subtext and, there, and, like, for instance, on Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, one of the main characters keeps says, "I'm going out, I'm leaving," um, and that there's reasoning why he keeps repeating that, and it has to do with coming out. There's a lot of correlations. When you really do some kind of script analysis, then you realize, wow, okay, this is a character that's not out, and that's why he's having problems at home. So a lot of this stuff, it's real. It's like hidden in these scripts.
yes.
And
Whereas I was gonna say, whereas last
with
night I
X-Men, remember X-Men that we discussed that? How X-Men basically the mutants, they're gay.
yes, yes. Well,
Right.
I was gonna say, well, like last night, as I started to tell you guys before we started recording, last night I watched this movie called it's called Dix, the musical.
No,
And
Lord.
it is a musical, and it's really funny because it's
It's a
these
musical and a movie, and it's a real musical, like a New York one?
yes, yes,
Yeah.
like people that they're like people burst out in the songs, and it stars Nathan Lane and
Ooh.
oh my gosh, I'm Karen from Will and Grace, Megan Mullally.
Oh,
Oh
they're
Uh,
great.
wow.
yes, and then there's Megan the Stallion is in it.
What?
Um,
I need to watch
and
this now.
yes, and
Where is it?
so
Where'd you watch it on?
I I watched it online. I will have to. I'm trying to have to tell you like I'll have to figure out later on where it was, but
Oh, we're
yeah, it was
legally
online.
not allowed to say where you watched it. That's okay.
Scam
I'll just
scam
say it
tip?
was online. I'll just say it was online. Anyway,
I didn't
um,
think people did that anymore with all these, streaming.
so
We
so
do it more.
right. I mean, I would just say yeah, it was online, but I'll talk more about that offline. But anyway, um, so but yeah, so the funny thing was it's kind of like it starts off with a preface, and it flat out tells you, the two main characters in real life are gay, but they are playing straight men. And this is like the
Mm.
first thing you see. It's like, but they are playing straight men. They are,
Because it's a sporting goods store, right? Dick's?
Oh, no, 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 it has
Mm.
nothing to do with that, like, it has
What?
absolutely nothing to do with it. The premise of the story is that there are these 2 guys who are these insanely, like, horrible I mean, like, they go beyond stereotype with the straightness, but, like, they're incredibly straight, and, they find out that they are twin brothers that
Mm.
had been
What?
separated at birth, and so their goal is, of course, to get their parents to get back together so that they can have what they feel like is a normal family.
What is normal?
Yeah, like the
Exactly.
Parent Trap?
Exactly. But once again, this movie is so out there. Like apparently this was a play at one point, but then they made it into a movie. Um and it's just one of those like I was sitting there watching it going, "Oh my what? What?" Like there was some crazy moments. Crazy that I will not spoil for you, but
Mm.
I definitely feel like Robbie, especially you, like I not knowing that I don't know you well, but I feel like you would probably really, really enjoy this.
Yeah.
So yes, because even though
Oh,
they are straight, there's so many non-straight
Why wouldn't I
elements.
enjoy it?
You would enjoy it, but I
Mhm.
think you would question some things.
Mhm.
I'm
Whereas
questioning the ratings it got online. Only a 2.8. What?
Uh-oh.
yeah, like it's one of those like when you watch it, and I was actually telling a friend of mine earlier who I know he smokes a lot, and I was like, I could only imagine what this movie would be like if you were high,
Mm.
you know, because because I thought it was funny, and there were times when I was just like, what is happening? And I was like, if I can't
That's kinda
imagine
like
like.
the producers also, that musical, when you got Hitler starting to do a music.
So the producers,
Crazy.
like I love that one too. That was fun, but this is off. This goes above and beyond, like
Wow.
like Hitler. Like they do some stuff in this movie that I'm just like, what?
You this episode is wild and
Yes. So I would recommend if you just want to see something that's completely like out there, just now I'm. Yeah. I thought it was great. It was completely just like, yeah. Like I wish I could tell you some of the things that they did, but I don't want to ruin that for you. I really don't. So
well, I'm glad you had fun with it. I don't know if now I wanna see it.
you should though.
Okay.
You should.
It's got Nick Offerman.
It does. It does. He's not in it a lot. He's got one part, but he's in it.
Is Megan the Stallion in it a lot?
Oh yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness, I want to watch it now.
Yeah. Yeah. She's got several. She's got one part in there, and yeah, and of course she does a song. So
Nah,
yes.
love it.
So yes, but that is another thing. Like every now and then I would forget it is a musical, but then of course you'd hear the music start, and you're like, oh, that's right, it's a musical. you know?
I like those kind of musicals where there's
Right.
less music and there's lots of like actual acting. When they bust out into song every 10 seconds, like in The Wiz, no offense, I just got a little lost.
I mean,
I love Nathan Lane and Bowen
I
Yang.
Oh yeah.
oh, that's right. Bowen Yang plays God.
What?
That he
Yes.
should.
Yes. Yes. Bowen
He's
Yang
funny.
plays
They're
God.
all funny. Nathan Lane's great. I mean, come
Yes.
on. This
Yeah.
is, The Birdcage. He made that movie.
Yeah. Now I will say, yeah, obviously, like if I would not recommend it to someone who I guess has more conservative values
Well, you know
because
who the director is, right? It's Larry Charles. He's the one who's behind all the Borat stuff and Bruno and The Dictator. So
okay.
yeah, it's he's a wild director.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes some sense. Because some of the stuff, like I will say, like like at the very end, they show like some of the bloopers, and it was just kind of funny to see that. Like, okay, I'm so glad that the people in this movie also thought that what they were doing was funny and silly, because I thought they were silly at times. So yes, yes,
I gotta see it.
yes, yes.
I want to see it.
You should try to find it. Dick's the musical. It came out last year, apparently.
So Sasha Baron Cohen is not in this one?
No.
Hmm?
Good.
I like him. I like Borat.
Yeah, no, this is not a Borat thing. Nothing like it.
Okay, what else, Robbie? What have you been watching?
I actually went to the theater,
Oh,
Stop
the
lying.
movie theater. The main reason is because I wanted just to hang out in air conditioning.
I know.
And well, no. So, okay, so I went to the cinema in the center of Madrid where they often have movies in original language. So
Mhm.
it would be in English, but with Spanish subtitles. And I'm out in the waiting room or the lobby, I guess. And it says there's like 10 movie theaters, and mine was number three. And when it's ready, the light turns green, meaning that you could go up and scan your ticket, and then you could go to the room number three. And I'm waiting. Room number one goes green. Room number two goes green. Room number four goes green. Five. Everything is green except for number three. And it's 5 minutes after when mine was supposed to start. And I'm like, okay, what's going on here? So I speak to the person that's helping people scan their tickets, and he's like, well, there's a fallo technico, a technical failure. There's no air conditioning on, and I'm like, oh
No, money back.
yeah.
no. Well, I asked, if I don't like it, can I get my money back? He's like, yeah, sure, absolutely. But I went in and it wasn't that bad. It was actually kind of cool, but not, you could tell the air conditioning was off. So I was like, okay, great. Let's go through it. And I'm glad I did, because I saw Inside Out 2.
No.
Oh,
So I think it was worth it. I'm definitely the anxiety character. I
Who am I? Who am I?
I think you're a bit of everything,
Mm.
as normal people should be. I think
Oh,
everyone
you're
should have
calling me
a little
normal.
bit.
That's great.
Yeah, exactly.
What's
You are normal.
normal?
What is that? No, it's
Today's
got all the
episode is
old
called "What's Normal."
I don't think you need to watch Inside Out 1 in order to enjoy Inside Out 2, because Inside Out 1 I saw like 100 years ago. I barely remember it. But yeah, I really liked Inside Out 2, like the character development and showing emotions and the journey that they go on. I'm not going to give out too much, but I mainly wanted to see it because I really like anything that Io Edebiri is in. And yeah, I had a great time. It was really funny. Obviously, when you watch it in the original language, it's amazing. If I were to have watched it dubbed in Spanish, I don't think I would have gotten all the jokes.
What do you
Uh,
guys think about these? Like Netflix and other streamers now are actually dubbing foreign shows. There's a lot that I watch that are from, I don't know, Poland and
you know,
Norway.
see, I know for me, honestly, I when I watch something, I want to see it in its original language, just because I don't like when someone's lips are moving but the words don't match. Like
oh, that bothers me too.
that
Yeah.
that bothers me. Like I would much rather hear Polish and read English subtitles than to see someone who's speaking Polish dubbed over in English.
Oh
I
Like
yeah.
that just
concur for the
that
movie theater, though.
yeah. No, this just in life in general. Like I like when
No.
I don't like that. I don't like seeing it in general. Like on in a movie theater, on my TV. Like there are plenty of shows and movies that I have watched where the original language is not English. And I'm like, that's fine. I will listen to Korean and I will just read. Like that's fine because
Right.
their lips match, you
Yeah, and
know.
after a while, you don't even notice you're reading. But the thing is, for me, on the big screen, I prefer original version and reading, by far. But at home, in front of the TV, I really don't wanna read for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe I'm more comfortable in the home setting, but I prefer it to be dubbed at home.
No, like
I think it
no,
depends. Yeah.
no, like for me, I just don't like it. Like if I see what your lips are doing and what the sound I'm hearing doesn't match, it just bothers me. It just hurts my head. I don't know.
Right.
Like it's just I was just like
I
I
Well,
feel
we
can't
you.
do
don't
it.
want that. We
Yeah.
don't want James's head to hurt.
Yeah. I'm just like, no, I don't like it. I just don't
Thinking
like it.
causes wrinkles.
Yeah. Like I would much yeah, exactly. We do not want wrinkles. No, but no, I would much rather like that, and I also am curious about like, I'm curious about the language that they're speaking, like
Yeah,
I
no, absolutely. It's original version is always best, but for
right.
me in a home setting, I don't know, maybe it's because I don't wanna think too hard, to get those wrinkles at home, but when I'm out in the theater, it's like, you want to be a part of that experience, so, um
No, I will say when I was in Germany once, me and a friend went to see one of the newer Star Trek movies, and uh luckily I had already seen it. So I I didn't need to. It was in complete German. I was in Berlin, so there were no subtitles, and I luckily I knew what they were saying. So I was like, this is really interesting in German, but but of course their lips didn't match up. But I just thought that it was fascinating because of course I had never sat through, you know, a movie like an actual movie theater, where I'm sitting there watching a movie that I've seen probably 10 times, but it's in German, because at home I'm not gonna listen to it in German.
Yeah, one
But
of the first films when I went to visit my cousins in Spain, growing up, that I saw in the theater, which is an American film, so with Mel Gibson and Jodie Foster. It's called Maverick. Came out in
oh yeah.
1994,
Hmm.
and, It was great, but it was the first time that I went into the theater with my cousins, movie turned on, and somehow I didn't even think about it. I didn't think that it was gonna be in a different language. I just thought, I associate movies, English, whatever. And then when Mel Gibson started speaking with a Castilian accent, I just lost it. I started laughing, and my cousins thought that I was like, "There's something wrong with this guy." Um, and it really blew my mind. I was also 14,
And there
um,
was something wrong with you.
probably. But it was wild to first realize that they actually watch people, across the world, and how Hollywood really influences. They watch a lot of our movies,
Yeah, they do.
um, they're dubbed.
But you know what what I found fascinating about that is that countries will have like one person will dub the same actor.
Yes,
So like whoever that person who dubbed Mel Gibson in that one movie has dubbed Mel Gibson in all those movies in
and they're
Spain.
treasured too. They
Yes.
know that actor, and he's as popular as Mel Gibson for them.
Which
Yeah,
is just
yeah.
yeah, that's crazy to me, but it's fascinating.
They get paid really well too.
Yeah, like I was one thing that I've watched recently on YouTube, I've seen several clips of Star Wars speeches but in German because
Oh,
if you've ever like I don't know how big of sci-fi fans you are, but I love sci-fi and so obviously, most people who are big into sci-fi recognize that, like the empire is kind of like Nazi Germany. So to hear a speech, like to hear like one of like a main character giving a speech in German, it's very like
Unsettling.
it is like you're like, whoa, this
right.
is like
It
this is
hits
crazy.
different. It
Yeah,
hits different.
it's really crazy. So that's something you can also catch on YouTube if you want. But
Yeah.
yeah.
So what else is something that you guys have been watching that has inspired?
I don't know. I went through a today before the pod. I was going through the Amazon app where Amazon TV. I don't even know what the app is called, but
Hmm.
when you have an Amazon Prime subscription, you have the app to watch movies and TV.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was just bored. I couldn't select anything. Maybe it's because in Spain they have a limited selection, but
Hmm.
I just
No,
went
no,
through
no.
the top 10 in Spain and I was like, boring, boring, boring. No,
That's the
no, no.
result of the strike that we had for almost 7 months last year, and or strikes, and there's a lull in, making, it's a process to make these films or TV shows. It takes a while for it to come out. Usually it's a year.
Mm,
For you to see it on your TV, they made it, probably in the last year. So there's a lull. There's going to be a lot of stuff that's going to come out this fall,
hopefully.
um, but also it's been slow to ramp up. Everyone thought that there was going to be a huge ramp up right after the strike ended in November, the actor strike, and it wasn't so. It stayed kind of slow until late spring. It's just starting to pick up now. So yeah, you guys should start seeing the TV getting a little bit better in September, October, when things really start coming out. There's a lot that has been shot in the last few months. So
And Louis, have you seen anything lately? What have you been watching?
you know what? I tried. I'm trying to watch The Tourist with Jamie Dornan. Have you seen that?
Never heard of it.
Okay.
No.
It's a series where it's an Australian series. He's basically has amnesia, and he doesn't know if someone's after him and they're trying to murder him. He doesn't know if he's the bad guy, like if he himself is the bad guy or the good guy. And it's kind of riveting. But I don't know if it's my cup of tea. I feel it. There's something missing about it. Jamie does a good job. Don't get me wrong. Um, and the other cast is good. It's just something about it is too redundant. Like having to search for him over and over again. Yes, we get it. Like there needs to be new questions introduced for us, and it seems to be very kind of drawn out, same storyline. But that's really the last thing. I agree with Robbie. There isn't much new stuff or
Did
riveting
you
stuff out.
did either of you watch the TV show Mary and George?
Never heard of
No,
it. What's that?
Okay, yet another gay series that I loved.
there's a lot of gay series now.
So I'm also so on top of being a big fan of sci-fi, I'm also a huge historical drama fan. Like I have
Oh, this is the Julianne Moore one. Yes.
yes, yes, Mary and George. It's about so it's about King James the First of England, who was notoriously gay, and um and George, I want to say his last name is Villiers, who was like his most I I don't know if it was his last or his well, he was definitely one of his favorites,
Hmm.
so to say. Like favorites would be in quotes because essentially King James had favorites,
Oh,
and these and these would be men who they earned a lot of power and prestige from being a favorite. Like George went from his family being monetarily stressed to being like one of the most one of the richest people in England. And I want to say when he died, he was the Duke of Buckingham. I think
So,
that was his
so did
title.
people around
first
him
Duke of
know that he
Buckingham.
was?
Yeah.
Did
S-
they
say that again?
know he was gay?
Oh yeah, like it was like I don't know if it was I don't excuse me, I don't know if it was something that a regular person would have known, but everyone in the court did, you know.
Mm. Oh, of course, yeah.
For sure, because like it's one of those like, if you want favor with the king, then you would probably try to get a really attractive guy, to sort of like be on your side and sort of whisper things and you're like, hey, you know what, Louis, my friend Louis is he's really cool. Maybe you could back his claim to get these 50 acres of land, whatever,
You're
so
pimping out Louis for your land.
exactly, so it's just kind of like, yeah. But it was a really good show. 'Cause once again, it's definitely one of those shows, like intrigue and just like some of the things that the characters get into, you're just kind of like, man, like his so Mary is George's mother. And Mary is the one who's like basically pushing
Mm.
George into the arms of King James because, she's like, listen, you are incredibly pretty. If I was as pretty as you, I would be, like I would, be going after James, but you know, uh, obviously
So it's just families trying to scale the ladder,
social,
right?
yeah, yeah, the
Social
social
ladder.
ladder, yeah, yeah, for
Any
sure.
which way. Um, it's intriguing. I gotta watch the show. I love
Hmm.
the actors. I did
Yes,
see it advertised. It was a big thing, but for some reason, I don't know why it wasn't so appealing for me to watch. And I love historical stuff. I somehow kind of felt like I know what was gonna happen. I was like, okay, so yeah, the mother pushes the son. Okay, what else? What else
well,
is
I mean, it is it is based on true history.
right?
So I mean, if you look up, King James, and you look up, the Duke of Buckingham, you can see what happened to them in real life.
What did
Because
end up happening? Do you want to spoil it for everyone?
I
Yeah.
mean, it was like,
Did he get
obviously it was
killed?
like the 1500s or 1600s. Obviously, you're asking me to spoil the show. I'm not going to spoil the show. I don't do that for sure. I
He
don't do
was assassinated. I can save you guys a couple of hours. He was born in 1592 and died in 1628. Oh, he was young.
He was.
So, I'm sure a lot of people don't want any kind of concubines to get close to any kind of king, right? So there's always going to be people that don't like you using your looks to get in front of them in line,
I
and
mean,
that's
that's
probably who
not.
killed him.
I will say that's not why he died.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, we'll keep that a secret. Who killed him?
I'm not gonna tell you the story. I'm not gonna
You're gonna
end the.
make me watch the show now,
I'm not gonna ruin the ending.
Lord. Robbie, are you gonna watch?
I don't really like historical pieces, but if it's got good drama, James, is everyone white in it?
Yes, but
Okay,
it
do they
is.
wear name tags? Because if everyone's white, I need name tags.
I
I can't do
mean,
that Game of Thrones stuff. Just miss me with it.
it's
They're
so
wearing wigs.
I was gonna say everyone is white because of course it takes place in it's mostly England in the 1500s, and they are in France a little bit. But I will say that there's
Is
okay,
there risque stuff?
yes, there's risque
Really?
stuff. So I mean, obviously they don't show. Obviously, it's not yeah, they don't show everything, but you see plenty of skin for sure, for sure.
Okay, if it's risque, maybe I'll give it a whirl.
Robbie's gonna wait for the animation version.
Yeah, exactly. Cliff
Which
notes.
yeah, I'm like, I don't know about that, but yeah, if you like that sort of thing. Now, obviously, if you might watch it and you'd be like, this is just all right.
If it's not advertised on Pokemon Go app, Robbie doesn't watch it.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on in the world. If it's not on advertised on Pokemon Go, I don't know what's going on.
I mean, I mean, he should have been born like a Japanese teenager. This guy.
Oh
That's-
yeah,
I mean, you
very
know,
kawaii.
I was like,
No,
fun,
but
fun
my
stuff.
attention span has been getting really bad lately. I don't know if it's because of the lack of
Oxygen to
uh
your brain.
it could be that, but also just
what?
the lack of good television shows out there. So, or it also very well could be TikTok brain rot going to my brain.
Oh yeah, I mean, anything 30 seconds is a long time on that thing.
Oh yeah, it is. And creating my own content as well. I also see the high production value, and I do appreciate it a lot more whenever I do see a really good show. It's like, wow, it's not just what I saw, it's everything in the context. Oh God, I
Right.
sound like Kamala. You know what I mean, though. It's like there's so much that goes into these things
Right,
that you don't see on the screen, and sometimes I just get lost in Wikipedia deep dives, and I'm like, oh, this actor was from here and they went to school there and they were married and they got divorced 3 times, and I'm like, oh wow, that's so interesting. Here they are being a bad person for 10 seconds on screen, and I'm like, wow, that person has a life, you know what I mean? So
right.
I
You
just
know
get
what?
ADD-ish, but I love YouTube. I don't know
Oh,
why.
I love YouTube too. It's amazing. Before we get into YouTube, I do want to say that you did something just now that we covered in a couple episodes ago with Dr. Kristen. She mentioned something that opened my eyes a lot, and she said that Kamala Harris, that everyone calls her Kamala, and not Harris.
Mm-hmm.
We don't say Joe and Donald, but with women, for some reason, it's Hillary and Kamala instead of Clinton and Harris.
Now, are we talking about sexism or are we talking about branding?
We're talking
Because
about how
this is her branding.
there is some kind of uh unrealized bias there with women, that we call them by their first names, even though we don't give them the same privilege as men by calling them by the last names. So and you did it. You did it just like we all do, because it is true. We all kind of do that. Um, but yeah, she's Harris, not Kamala anymore.
I don't go by
Um,
that. Sorry. I think that's just her branding. And if she wants to make
so
a
would you call Joe Biden Joe?
let's see here. How many other Joes were out there? There was Joe Lieberman. There's only one Kamala. Harris is a very average last name, and I think for branding reasons, Kamala HQ. Look at her social media. It's not Harris.
Well,
So
you
I
should get
feel
with
it's her
Dr.
fault.
Kristen. She would
If people are gonna pull the sexism card, I'm gonna have to
she would
say I
disagree.
get it, but also it's not just one way to see it.
Well, I just wanted to bring it out, not to poop on your anything. I just wanted to, some
We
kind
could
of
talk
like
about that in another episode.
observation.
Now that all of our content about the elections is definitely old.
Very
I know
true.
Trump versus Biden. It's like, wow, someone who listens to those episodes now
Yeah,
is like,
they're so dated now. Oh my goodness. Isn't
I
that
know
weird?
it's very
It's
weird.
crazy that it's only been a couple of weeks since we did that
Right.
too, and it's just like, all right, now everything's
But we
changed.
are, let's just say it, we are literally everything we say comes true. It's really scary because we were like, we need fresh blood, and Harris would do such a good job, and it's like, okay, now Biden did step down. Oh, but we did take a poll. I got to listen to the other episode. Remember when we said let's see what's going to happen by November? Is he going to drop out, or is he going to drop out after he gets elected and bring in Harris? I think I want to see which one what we said. I got to listen to it again, see who was right.
Oh, that's fine.
YouTube. YouTube is fantastic. Everything you can find in that thing. It's a resource that I'm literally on all day long.
I pay for premium.
Me too. Oh, I can't. I sometimes I'm like, I shouldn't do it. It lasts like 10 minutes. When I see an ad, I'm like, no.
And
Yeah,
there's
I
going to be
I
ads
don't pay for
inside
it.
the videos, so
I know those are a
you
little
can't get
annoying.
around them.
I don't pay for YouTube just because I feel like I feel like there's so much content that people want you to pay for.
Yeah.
Like it's just like you could easily, like when I think back to like my old cable bill, like one of the reasons why like I pretty much told the cable company, I was like, listen, I don't want your cable. I just want internet because I can just stream everything online because I'm paying over like $150 to get all these channels.
We're going back to cable soon. It's
Right.
just going
It's
to be
essentially
streaming in
that's
one
it's kind
bundle.
of like what people are doing because now it's kind of like, okay, well, instead of paying, yeah, you're
Right.
paying just for internet, but now you're paying for like YouTube, you're paying for Disney, you're paying for Amazon, you're paying for Netflix, you're paying
It's too
for
much.
for all
There's so
these
many
things.
streaming services, and
Right,
so many
exactly.
famous YouTubers are leaving YouTube and starting up their own streaming services.
They say
Yes,
there's about
yes,
7,000 streaming services out there.
right.
Oh,
and
that's too much.
and for me, I'm kind of like, that's just a lot. That's a lot of money. I
Most of
mean,
them are crap. Let's be honest.
like it's just like I don't want to pay it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's great like when you have friends who are like, "Hey, just use this account." And I'm like, well, like if you use a friend's account, but some companies are cracking down on, friends using their accounts. And it's just like, but why? If it's my account, why can't
I
I,
vote for a bundle.
you know?
I vote for like you turn on Apple TV and you have all these icons to streaming service, but the whole thing costs like 49.99. That's it. But most of the ones you want to see are on there, you know. Because if you I mean you're right, it's just ridiculous. And that's probably one of the another reason I haven't watched Mel and George because that's Stars, which I
Ooh,
discontinued Stars
Mary
about
and
6
George.
months ago. Mary
Yeah,
and George,
yeah.
sorry.
Mhm.
So it's like I think I wanted to watch it and I couldn't because I'd have to
Right,
subscribe again.
right.
But Stars before used to be, if I'm not wrong, I used to be able to watch Star shows in Amazon. Is that how it used to be before?
I think Amazon does allow for some other places, but
And
I
then they
don't know.
changed and they started their own
Yeah,
Stars Play or something.
yeah,
I don't know. And
yeah,
then I didn't subscribe. So
yeah.
everything changes every 6 months with these streamers.
But I love YouTube. I got so much content on there. I look forward to uploads. Mostly, I'm going to, be a little nerd here, but I do like travel content.
Oh,
And
I love travel content.
Same here.
just solo female travelers. Even though I'm not a solo female traveler, there's so many of them, not a lot, but there's quite a few of them that do really, really good, like mini documentaries once a
Yeah,
week.
they're
How
really
do they
good.
do it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Like so
some
much good content.
I know you don't like Johnny Harris. I love Johnny Harris. Um
I,
I
I like his production value. I
yeah, just
love
the
the
maps
maps.
are
The
great.
maps are so good. He is a government plug, but
Oh, come
I
on.
do like his content. I will watch it. I won't agree with all of it.
And he's
I don't
cute.
I don't know who he
No.
is. So
Johnny Harris, you don't know? Oh my god, he's
no,
adorable.
no.
Related, no relation to Kamala. Sorry, Harris.
That's right, Harris. Um, so yeah, no, watch his stuff. He used to work for I think Vox Media or something like that, right?
Okay.
And now another guy took over Vox, and he started his own channel called Johnny Harris. He's got like 5 million subscribers, and he does deep dives into historical stuff or just questions things like why are there so many U.S. military bases all over the world, and he kind of explains it to you historically what happened, and he does it by putting some animation stuff, but it's mostly maps that move, graphics. It's really cool.
Mhm.
He does a good
Interesting.
job. Yeah, you can tell that he's got a whole team. I mean, it's
Obviously.
intense.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, YouTube's got a lot of really good stuff out there, and I really love how it's individual people and not companies doing this because I'm really tired of going on to, um, let's say one of these streaming services and seeing the same story in different, in different bodies or in different whatever. It's the same thing over and over again. It's like, oh, geez. But YouTube stuff is kind of fresh. I like it. I
I like
mean,
how it's democratized.
yeah, democratized. Yeah,
Yeah, I like how more and more people are getting a platform in the way that we're doing it, just talking to our laptops right now.
right.
But um, I think there's just so much room for growth. It might
Yeah,
be oversaturated, really. I haven't looked into it, but I think in general, it's the first place where people go to. And it's back maybe 10 years ago, it would be cringe, but now it's a real job, and it's something that people go, oh wow, he's a YouTuber, that's great.
right. It's like
Exactly.
it's actually the in the U.S. It's the biggest profession is being a YouTuber or influencer.
I
There are
could see
more
that.
influencers, YouTubers than there are doctors and lawyers.
Well, content creators, yeah,
I
I
think
could see that.
I think it's down to YouTubers, but yeah, I mean, in general, that's the main job now for Gen Z, and they make a lot of money.
It
Um,
can, yeah.
so we're not in it for the money; we're in it for the love,
And we're
and
in it to get our voices out,
that's exactly right.
and to give our voices about aging and being queens.
Yes,
That
and
is true.
with that, we have reached a milestone. We just published our 25th episode. Little
Yeah.
claps
Boo
of
boo boo
both
boo
for all
Oh
boo.
yay.
claps all around because everyone's effort has helped to get this show up and running. 59% of podcasts do not make it past episode 10. So we've already made it past episode 10 and 20, hit our milestone 25. So let's push for 100
Yeah.
episodes. I think we are onto something that's interesting and not many people are talking about, and it's a perspective that is going to hit you sometime. It's because you're not going to be young forever. But no,
Uh,
I think it's all encompassing, and we really are. I'm very honored to have this show and this kind of platform to share my ideas and with you guys.
And I love being on this show with you.
Ah, you're
yeah,
so
same here.
cute. I know. All right, let's do a little group hug. Hug, 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 hug. All right,
Virtual
guys.
hug.
Well, wrapping it up for this episode, and thank you for joining us. If you like this episode, please don't forget to like and subscribe.
Yes.
All right, guys. We'll catch you on the next one. Thank you, and this has been another episode of The Aging Queen.